Tanya, the Canadian Stamper. I have a 3D project for you today. It's a little gift card holder bag. They're so stinking cute. I'll stand them up so you can see inside as well. So your paper is 7.5 by 4 1/4, and then you're going to have two pieces for the handles, which are going to measure 1/4 inch by 3.5. So let's get started. We're going to do some scoring on the long side, which is 7.5, and we're going to score at 2.5, 3, 3.5, 6, 6.5, and 7. This one here, because it's got the scorer and it's got a cutting blade, but I found that this is good when you're scoring cardstock. The designer series paper, it cut right through if you push hard. So if you are going to use this and don't have a scoreboard, just make sure to do it lightly. Don't necessarily push really firm as you would, say, with cardstock. I'm going to score at 1 inch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fold and varnish on all of the sides. So now we have all of our pieces. The box is basically going to be like this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut. So get your snips, and we're going to take the paper. So you're going to have your 3 lines here, and then 1 flap is there. This is the outside. This is the inside. So make sure your paper is directed the way that you want it to be. We're cutting on the inside, and we've got the flat piece over in your left hand here. So then down at the bottom, there's going to be this little corner here, and we're just going to cut that right out. So we're going to cut up to the score line, and then we're going to cut this out. Now, when you're making 3D projects, especially boxes, you want to do something called, I think it's flagging is what they call it. So you're cutting up so that when you're putting it together, the lines fold in nicer. You'll see what I mean if you just flag up the sides. So then your next cut, there's a little piece. We're not going to cut this part. We're going to cut the second line. So we're going to cut up there, and then we're going to do our flagging, which is just cutting in a little piece. Do you see that? And then we're going to go on this side and flag as well. Okay, so then we're going to move along, and you're going to see that you've got your 1, 2, 3 score lines here. So you're going to cut on the outsides of those score lines. You're not going to cut the middle. You're just going to cut the outsides. So you're going to cut up to the score line that we have here. Then we're going to flag, which is just cutting up the sides like that. Then we're not going to cut here, and then we're going to cut here on this last line. So up to the score line, and then we're flagging. I don't think it's called flagging, to be honest with you. I don't know what this is called. I'm nervous on my video here. Okay. Just gonna fix this. I'm gonna call it flagging. Maybe tell me in the comments below if it's called something different so that I get it right. Okay, so now we're gonna get out our tear-in tape. So you could use Tombow glue if you wanted to. You'd have to hold it down, but I'm gonna use tear-in tape, which is this stuff here. You can get it from Stampin' Up. It's good for making 3D projects. And so still, this is our inside, this is our outside. And so your flaps here, this end one is where we're going to put our tear-in tape. So to get this set up, we're going to fold all the way in, then we're going to fold back on itself, and then we're going to fold like this. So I'll do that again. So we're going to fold all the way in. There's a score line here. We're going to fold it back on itself, and then we're going to come forward. So almost like an accordion. You see that? So this essentially is the side of the box that we're making here. So then once we have this done, to glue that, once we have the tear and tape on, what's going to happen is we're just going to fold this over and it's going to fit nicely. So let's get our tear and tape on this one little strip. So I measure from about there, and you can tear it. So try and get your tear and tape as close to this outside line as possible, because then it just makes it to where that little flap doesn't come out. So make sure that's down good, and then you'll just lift up your edge. If it doesn't lift up for you, just really crease it down and then try again. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to basically fold this down. So once you have it, the paper is touching where the glue is, it's staying where it is. So you're going to line up this edge here, holding it down, and then the paper is really just going to fall exactly where you want it. And that's it. So now you can see this side, we just want it to be the same, so we're going to fold in on that crease line. So basically we have the top of our box there. Okay, so now let's deal with the bottom pieces. So you'll just pop this out, and there's a few different ways that you can put the base of the box together. I'll show you how I like to do it. So I'm going to fold in my little tabs here, and then I'm going to fold my pieces like this. So here's a good example of the flagging. So you'll see that I didn't flag this side. I didn't flag here, but I did flag here. So do you see how this sort of tucks in nicely, whereas this one is straight? So had I not cut that straight at the beginning, then it's possible that this could be over the edge of the box, and then it might not look as nice. So what I'm going to do is just flag this. Geez, I hope it's called flagging. Okay, I might just actually do it on this one too. Just, it's the underside, but I just don't want it to show as much. Okay, there. So do you see how that is just a bit nicer? Okay, so the last thing we're going to check before we put glue on this is I'm going to turn it around, and I want to find where that seam is from when we just did our glue. It's a pretty good seam actually. So this is our seam here. So in 3D project making, you want to make sure that your seam is at the back. Some people might not matter, some people it's important. So for example, we wouldn't want this right here. We'd want to make sure that that's towards the back. So how that relates to this piece is that we also want our seam to be at the back for here. So for example, this is correct because it's a nice smooth all the way around, whereas if you were to go this way, then you would have the seam from the bottom facing. So I'm just going to flip this around. I'm going to open up this top piece, and I'm going to put wet glue here. And again, I'm going to put Tombow glue. It's a thin layer on the edges because I want the edges to stick down, and then a little heavier in the middle. Now be careful because you'll have an ooze factor. And then we're just going to fold this down. And you'll also have the pieces, don't go too far to the edges because your glue will go out the sides from where you've flagged it. Okay, once that's like that, you can flip it around. And I like to take my bone folder and just push that down so that it's got a good stick to it. And we're almost done. So there's your little box. It's so cute. Perfect for a little gift card. So let's put our handles on and then decorate the front. So we're going to come back here to our 2 1/4 inch by 3.5, and on my mat here I'm going to line up one side. So you want to see which I'm going to use this side as the outside of my handle. So I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to go through it. It's going to seem more complicated than it is. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to put my finger 1 inch above, and I'm just going to 90-degree fold it like that. So that's what we're going to end up with. And then on here, I'm going to rotate this so that my other foot is down here, and I'm just gonna press down so that it's like that. It's not exact, but it's okay if these don't match because we're gonna put it into the box and you can adjust, you know, you're not gonna see what's in the box. So let's do that again with the second handle. So this is the outside. I'm gonna put it here on my mat. I'm gonna go 1 inch up and I'm gonna fold it onto itself for a 90-degree angle like this. Then I'm gonna take this piece and I'm gonna fold it under itself down to the 1 inch line. And I'm just going to flatten. So it'll smooth itself out as you go to make this crease, and just let it naturally do that. And there we go. So let's put our handles on. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Tombow. Again, be mindful of the ooze factor. And we're gonna put it on there. So once you kind of get it where you want it, then just hold it for a couple seconds so that it sticks. And then let's do the same for our other handle on the other side. So you could put a little piece of tissue in here and then put your gift card in there. This is the same box if you have a Pandora bracelet. This is the same little bag that you get your Pandora pieces in. So that's it. It's super cute, you guys. All right, so to decorate the front of it, I should tell you what kind of designer series paper I'm using. But this essentially I've fussy cut from this paper, one of these flowers. And so I'm going to put a dimensional on the back to pop it up off of my box. And I'm gonna go off the box, or why do I keep calling it? I'm gonna go off the bag a little bit, similar to how I did for this one. And then to do my sentiment, I've got a piece of Petal Pink, which of course was Stampin' Up. It's beautiful because the greens match these greens, and these shades of pink is this shade of pink. So it's beautiful that the colors match up like that. So I'm using a 1 3/8 scallop punch, and I just found a sentiment from one of the old Paper Pumpkin series, actually, stamp sets, and it just says hello. So put that on. So I'm stamping it in Memento Black, Tuxedo Black ink. You could do the matching Petal Pink ink if you want. And then again, I'm gonna use my dimensional to pop this up on the back and stick it. I'm just gonna tuck this in there, and that's it. So you could really get creative with how you decide to decorate the front of your bag. This one that I did yesterday in a crafting class, this apparently I can't measure, so this is a 1/4 inch handle, this is a 1/2 inch handle, so it's a bit more bulky, but depending on the style that you like. And then these are, I think they're Papa Petal stamp set. It's a stamp set and a punch, and then I stuck those on with glue dots, again just on the outside of the bag to give it, I just kind of like going off the bag a bit. I think this one's my favorite. This designer series paper is beautiful, and I hope you really enjoyed the project. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and have a great afternoon, guys. Bye for now.